Okay, testing. Should be some sound. I'm gonna do a bit of late night sketching before I get to sleep, so I thought I'd just record this and stream it at the same time. But it's a little scene here that I did a while ago, and yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and sketch it in and see how we go in pen and wash. So, not the reference picture so I can see it. Go with a bit of this border. Closer. Just adding in a really quick border and across the left so the reference picture doesn't get in the way. And we'll start off with the kind of horizon line or whatever it is at the back house is, really with the kind of light line. I'll leave some space in for that little cottage as well. This is really going to be quite a loose sort of drawing. We've even got a tree here. Which, just quickly go ahead and sketch in some branches. That. Bits and pieces here in the background. Interesting thing is this path that sort of just comes in all around about here. And I tend to turn the pen a little bit kind of sideways like that. And that way it just gets in a little bit more of a, oops, yeah, just a fainter sort of line as we come down. Yep. This and around about here. But, the most difficult part is this house here at the back, and I'm going to get it in pretty loosely. So just move that up like that. Yeah. And there is a tree in front, but I think what I'll do is actually cut out that tree, do my own thing. Yeah. The roof. That little bit that sort of comes out from the back here. That and a little, I don't know what this is, chimney or something. In here. The patio or something like that, just illuminated there. A lot of this stuff you can pretty much just make up as you go, and little bits and pieces with a little bit of perspective maybe in there. This is some kind of wall drawing there. And what else do we have? We've got a wall here, something like that. Not sure what it is. A bit of hatching. It's essentially just moving the pen in one direction to imply some shade. And it's the same deal as behind here as well, behind this little cottage or whatever it is. Just pop in a bit more of that roof. I don't want to overdo it though. Okay. Really just a lot of darkness here. I'm going to indicate that. And the windows pop on. I'm getting rid of that little tree. Oh. Okay. Hard to see the hatching actually on the camera. See if I can just reduce the brightness a little. That. Okay, be a bit better. And just gonna go ahead and finish off this cottage quickly. Windows. That. For some of them, you might be able to just, we can darken some of the windows like that. There. And you can put a kind of frame around that window, something like that. Same with this one. I know it's not in the reference. I like to change things up a little bit where I can. It's looking pretty all right at the moment. I'll get in a little shrub or something here on the side. Just joining on here, side of the house. Okay, there are kind of windows along the side here as well, which we can apply the pen. A lot of it we don't need to worry about all too much. Okay. See what else we can get in here. There's a little shack or something out the back. Just apply that. Yeah. Not sure really what it is. It's quite far off in the distance. Here, and then you've got kind of hill that joins on that. Okay, so I'm going to start putting in like these little kind of posts or whatever they are. Put them in side that. It gets smaller as they're out the back. Get closer. Put some of them off on a kind of angle. You don't have to keep them all 100% straight. Larger one here. That. Maybe we can fit in another one here. There. Like that. Great thing with these is that they really work to imply that sense of perspective come out of this thing. Join them onto that. And a bit of shape of this tree there. do some negative painting around this section to do a bit of etching on whatever this thing is. I want to pop in another tree here as well. Keep it, have some more negative spaces. Got trees and things like that, so in another couple of trees. Might even, just thinking what else we can do here in the background. I don't want to overdo it as well. Let's put in a figure kind of walking through here, kind of overlap with some of these posts, these fence posts. That, oops, pretty basic. Have maybe another one here as well. That's just kind of walking through the scene. All right, add some color onto it now. Okay, bunch of brushes here to start off with. I reckon I'll use the little round brush first. Okay. Essentially what I'm going to do is go over the whole thing with a light kind of wash. So I'm going to start off with the rooftop here of the house and pop in a bit of warmer color in there, just a bit of orange. And down the side of the house as well, I'm going to put in a bit of this Naples yellow, just running down that. If some of it starts coming into the foreground, don't worry all too much. This will mix around with the green later. I think a bit of warmth on that side of the building will be nice too. Little fence posts or whatever they are. Just warmer sort of colors in this area. What you want. Pick all this stuff in the background, really, it's going to just be quite dark and we'll cut around everything else. And a bit of sap green now. I've still got some of that yellow and I'm just going to mix a bit of this sap green in here. Drop that straight into this area of the trees. That, where you got the trunks as well, you can get a bit of kind of brown. Oh, it's too dark. Something a little bit like that just to get it to melt in. Sometimes I just use a smaller round brushes. That. Darken that bit. Always nice also to drop in a little bit of softer paint in here. Let it mix around. Do its thing. Moving down further, I'm really just going to pick up a bunch of this sap green. Cut around bits and pieces. Actually just get in a little bit of color, a bit of green. That. I've got these fence posts again, just do a little bit of cutting around those. But flat brushes, you can also do it with a flat brush. This stuff is kind of right off a bit at the back, but that's all right. I'm going to leave a fair bit of this area of the ground white. Just continue little indications of grass and things growing in here. Apart from that, I'm going to get in all these other bits and pieces, all just sap green, and also got a little bit of this, I'm not sure what it is, I think it's emerald green or something I've mixed in to whole section. Brown, and also I think a bit of blue would be nice in here too. Pull it down further. Green, that, and a bit of this sort of joining on this side as well. Grass and stuff. That. Go. Darker bits of green. You can always just darken your greens by adding some blue to it. So if you've got a lighter green, like a sap green or something, that's really all you need. The others, you just darken it. A little play around here. Maybe I can add in some indications of some bushes or things like little darker areas. This bit of wet on wet always looks nice, especially where it's running through areas of sort of light. Do drop a bit in like the house, just beside the house, to this kind of bush or whatever growing by the side of it. Also mindful to this bottom area a little darker. Oh, foreground, really important. Okay. Great. And I'm hoping this top section will dry really shortly. I'm gonna go into this area, but give it a quick dry first. Get in a bit of brown and maybe a kind of reddish brown to these, we call them these little wooden poles, and they will just have bits of white running through them as well, especially over the left-hand side. We are imagining the light source coming from the left, imagining part of the reference. Just get in little bits of brown that there. Okay, a bit more brown. Really just implying tiny bits of detail. Nothing, this is not a masterpiece. It's a good exercise in understanding tonal variations, sketching, no pressure as well, because you're not thinking to yourself, you need to make it look really good. Now, there's actually a bit of shadow here running across this kind of grass, and I'm picking up a bit of neutral tint to get some of this in, and actually there is a bit of shadow cast by this these poles, so a bit of neutral tint. See, I don't want to make it too dark. I'm just mixing up a little bit of it and watering it down as much as I can, a bit of neutral tint. And you're kind of getting it to the consistency where it's like a kind of a coffee-like consistency. And I'm going to get in this little shadow like that. I'm not going to touch it after that, just leave it. Same here for this kind of whole other one here. That kind of running through the legs and things of these figures. These ones here, you can't see any of that going on. So too much in the grass, but little shadows like that, they do make a difference. And you know, while we're here in this same area, it might even be a good idea to get in the legs of these figures, change them up. I'll make them a little bit more put together, and again, you know, let's a little bit of a shadow like that, pop that in. Another figure here, and the legs here just look more joined together, or there's maybe one leg going forwards, the front, bit of a shadow running towards the right like that. Okay, you use that pen at times as just as a bit of a guide. Okay, I'll pop in some color for the shirts as well. Maybe a bit of red for this person. A little bit of red. We'll mix that in legs. And this person on the left, I don't know, I think we'll go with some blue, a little bit of blue. That. Yeah. Okay. You can add more later. For the time being, just fiddling around with little bits and pieces to get in some additional details, defining these wooden holes a bit more. You know, we've even got this tree here, and I can go in and start defining the trunk a little bit. This. All I'm using is a bit of neutral tint and a little bit of, I don't know what it is, it's just a little bit of neutral tint and a bit of brown. Something like that. Don't want to overdo it though, just keep it nice and fresh, nice and light, because I'm planning to just go over the back pretty dark. Okay, so I think the time has come. I'm just going to go for it and pick up some green, darker kind of green. I think this is Hooker's green, and into that I'm going to mix a little bit of what is this, ultramarine. Okay, so around the sides of the house is where you got to be the most careful because you want to imply that sort of sunlight hitting that area. And I also want to get in here just some kind of purples as well. We've got some more cooler tones, and really I'm just cutting around the house. That up around it there. Maybe some more blue, a bit more blue, the edges. That come down, cutting around the side. Oops, I'm too far in. Deal with that. Okay. We're just more cutting around the back area. Let's get some purple in here, maybe a bit of, even put in a bit of red. Mix two. As long as it's darker than the actual trees, you're going to be fine. And you know, I really like to vary the tones and the hues as well in this area. So what I'm doing here, I'm just doing some cutting around the trees, some sharp and quick brush strokes. Or with the flat brush. That. More darkness around this side of the tree, but around these. So you're leaving the light areas essentially while you get these dark bits around, and it takes a lot of self-control, especially when you're starting out as a beginner, to just leave those bits of those bits of light on there. So once you're happy with that background, and obviously if it's, we've got to make it pretty dark, but once you're happy with whatever you put in there, we're just going to leave that essentially to dry. And we're going to start working on just some of the dark areas on the house. So actually I'm going to pick up some a little bit of neutral tint and just a bluish color, and drop that in and areas underneath the roof. So here I'm going to join that a little bit onto the area in the back there. There's a bit of shadow underneath the roof here, like that. Then obviously behind the house on this side there's going to be darkness here as well, running along the back end. That. And, a little bit of this kind of light there, in whatever that thing is, catches onto the light. There we go. That. Trees. Some of these are too far in the back to actually cast shadow or anything. And here what we can do is just start to indicate you know, bits of grass and things. You use your round brush, or if you've got a rigger, a fan brush, something like that, to just start putting in like just indications of some blades of grass. And you know, even if you want to put a bush or something like that there, you can do that as well. But essentially what I'm doing is just getting a few different brush strokes running through here. Some kind of dry brush strokes running through these areas over the top. Well, oops, yeah, down to the front. I'm going to make some of them a little bit bigger, especially around these wooden poles. I've almost forgotten to get in the you know, as they just join onto the lines. Yeah, but yeah, of darkness on their heads just to put in some hair or something. This maybe the leg a bit more, just a bit more like that. We're almost done. I'm really not aiming to have anything super complicated in here, just a fun little thing that you can do from a reference photo. Okay. Thinking what else can we put in here? Detail or yep. Bit of branch that. All right, and I think I'll leave it as that.